Today we have John starting off with a tapped Rafine's Tower. Next is Tom with an island, followed by Extra with a Spire Garden plus Delighted Halfling, while Sam finishes it off with a tapped Sunken Hollow. John goes to his second turn, playing a Vault of Champions, then casting an Arcane Signet into a Gravecrawler before passing to Tom. Tom plays a Mountain and casts Insatiable Air, triggering its effect to make a Blood and pass. Extra plays a Spectator Seating, followed by his commander, Baylen the Haymaker, while Sam plays an island and quickly expends his mana, casting a Soul Ring, alongside a Patchwork Banner, naming Zombie, to round out the turn. John pays 2 life to play a Godless Shrine, then casts a Wilhelt the Rotcleaver, followed by a move to combat, sending Gravecrawler at Sam, before going to his end step, sacrificing him to Wilhelt in order to draw a card and make a Decayed Zombie. Tom first casts Fear of Missing Out, discarding and drawing a card, triggering Air to get a counter. He plays an island, then goes to combat, attacking Sam with Air, triggering its effect to make another Blood. After that, he gives the turn to Extra. Extra first casts an Artifact Mutation on Sam's banner, destroying it and making 3 Saplings. He plays a Plains, then ends the turn with a Risk the Redeemed. Having lost a bit of his mana, Sam is only able to play a Swamp and a Cleaver Scab before passing back to John. John plays a Tainted Field into both a Headless Rider and a Gravecrawler straight from the graveyard. He then sends his Wilhelt at Tom, before trying to go to his end step, with Extra stopping him in his second main with a Swords to Plowshares, exiling Wilhelt and shutting down his value engine. It finally goes to the end step, where Tom sacrifices a Blood to discard and draw, triggering Air to get a counter. Tom plays a Sulphur Falls and swiftly goes to combat, sending Air at Extra, triggering its effect to make a Blood. In his second main, he brings out his commander, Captain Howler, Sea Scourge, and moves to his end step, where Extra activates Baylen in order to draw a card. Extra plays a tapped Elegant Parlor, surveilling to the graveyard, followed by both of 3 visits, getting a Forest, and an Avacyn's Pilgrim to round out the turn. Sam first casts a Feed the Swarm, targeting Baylen, having Extra respond with Baylen to draw a card while he still can. After that, Sam casts a Diregraph Captain and gives the turn back to John. John plays a Swamp, then goes for his commander, Temmet, Naktamun's Will. With him in play, he moves to combat, sending Gravecrawler at Extra and Rider at Tom, triggering Temmet to draw and discard while giving his zombies +1/+1. Once the combat is over, he passes. Tom first casts a Frantic Search, drawing 2, discarding 2, and untapping 3 lands. This triggers both Air to gain 2 counters, and Howler to buff himself. Next he moves to combat, having Air and Fear go after John, with Howler going at Extra. Fear then triggers its Delirium, untapping Howler, and giving Tom another combat step. Not wanting to get hit, John casts a Rapid Hybridization, destroying and replacing Air, which is followed by a block with Halfling on Howler, denying him any card draw. Having an Extra combat at his disposal, Howler again goes at Extra, this time unchecked, which prompts Tom to cast a Big Score, discarding a card to draw 2, make 2 treasures, and trigger Howler on himself once more. The damage goes through, with Howler drawing a total of 2 cards, concluding his turn with a Command Tower. Extra has a less exciting turn, playing a Carplusian Forest and recasting his commander, Baylen the Haymaker. While Sam does even less, simply casting a Relentless Dead before passing to John. On John's upkeep, Tom decides to intervene, casting Rapid Hybridization to take out Temmet, triggering Rider to make a zombie. In his main phase, John casts Gisa and Geralf, milling 4 cards as it enters, followed by a quick attack with Rider at Tom before passing the turn. Tom first casts a Surly Badgersaur and follows it up with a Brass's Tunnel Grinder. Not wanting to see any fireworks, Extra responds with a Path to Exile, exiling the freshly cast Badgersaur. After that, the Grinder resolves, discarding 4 and drawing 4, having Howler buff himself. With no good target to attack, he moves to his end step, where Extra once again steps in with a Baylen draw, alongside a Grinder trigger that is remembered at a later time. Extra plays a Clifftop Retreat, then goes all in with a 4th Aer Lingus for X=6. Wanting to prevent any shenanigans, John responds with a Pongify on Baylen, having Extra use Baylen to draw a card before facing its destruction. Having lost his source of mana, he goes to his end step, where Sam activates Cleaver, sacrificing Captain in order to make 2 copies. Sam plays a Tainted Isle, casts a Liliana's Devotee, and quickly passes, leaving his mana open. John plays a Mistgate Pathway, and once again goes for his commander, Temmet, Naktamun's Will. Once in play, he sends Gravecrawler at Extra, triggering Temmet to draw, discard, and buff his zombies. After that, he gives the turn to Tom. Tom first sacrifices a blood to discard, draw, and trigger Howler targeting himself. He then repeats this once more, before casting a Key to the City, and using its effect, discard a card, and make Howler unblockable, while gaining 2 more power thanks to his own effect. Next he casts a Ghostly Pilferer, before proceeding to combat, sending both Howler and Fear at Extra, once again using Fear to untap Howler and gain an additional combat. Extra can only use his Ape to block the Fear, so Tom activates Pilferer 2 times, discarding 2 cards to pump up Howler, taking out Extra, and drawing 5 cards. Still having 1 combat left, he sends the unblockable Menace at John, using Pilfer 3 more times, triggering Howler to get it to 21 power. With this, John is taken out in 1 fell swoop, followed by a Howler trigger to draw 8. After combat, he plays an island, and goes to his end step, where the lone survivor Sam activates his Cleaver to sacrifice Captain, triggering the other's effect to deal 1. Tom steps in, casting a Pongify to take care of Cleaver, taking another damage from the Captain, before allowing the Cleaver trigger to resolve. Sam first sends everything he has at Tom, who uses his Frog Lizard and Pilferer to each block a Captain. In his second main, Sam casts a Corrupted Conviction, sacrificing his Ape to draw 2, and try and find a way to deal with the Shark. What he found was even better, playing an Underground River, followed by a Vengeful Dead, and a freshly drawn Plumb the Forbidden, sacrificing all his zombies, triggering the 3 Captains and Vengeful Dead enough times to take out Tom and claim victory.